Sit upright and also be relaxed. To create something, you need effort. To learn something, you need to relax. Effort hampers learning. Relaxation aids learning. Just be relaxed. Keep a smile on the lips. And be aware of the space around you. The space in the hall. Be aware of the space, the open space, the sky. Space has enormous depth. Unimaginable depth. Visualize the space of the planets going round the sun. It's such a deep space, difficult even to visualize. Visualize, whatever way you can, the infinite depths of space, the space of the stars and galaxies. The universe is 99.999% space only. Akasha. Infinite space. Akasha sometimes is used as a name for Brahman. The infinite space. Now, if you look within the heart, you notice that the space in the heart is equally deep and boundless. And then it is all one space without any boundary. The space within and the space without, they merge. Be aware of that boundless space within. When you contemplate on this space, you may notice that the mind is silent. The mind merged in that space. You may notice as you contemplate upon the space within, it is boundless. Deeply silent, the space. The awareness of space is equally boundless. abide as the boundless, spacious awareness. That is the Atma Chaitanyam. Boundless, spacious awareness. Take inspiration from Bhagavan Buddha, who meditated on space and abide in the heart as the boundless, spacious awareness. I am the infinite. I am the boundless, infinite, spacious awareness. You are aware of what is. You are not imagining anything. You are aware of what is. Om. Relax. Sit at ease and relax. Slowly open the eyes. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpada Shankaram Lokashankaram Ātmacaitanyamāśritya dehendriyamanodhiyaḥ Svakīyārtheṣu vartante sūryālokaṃ yathā janāḥ. Very beautiful verse. And there is something interesting to notice in this verse. Sūryālokaṃ yathā janāḥ. So the sentence is yathā janāḥ sūryālokaṃ āśritya Svakīyārtheṣu vartante. That is the illustration. Let us say the padacheda Atma Chaitanyamāśritya dehendriyamanodhiyaḥ Svakīyārtheṣu vartante sūryālokaṃ yathā janāḥ. One example or illustration and one proposition based on that illustration. Let us look at the illustration first. Yathā, in which way janāḥ, people, sūryālokaṃ, the sunlight, āśritya, having taken refuge, Svakīyārtheṣu, in their different jobs, vartante, are functioning. That is the example. Very simple example. People are doing many things, They are doing different things. Sometimes I wonder, when you stand on the footpath near a big junction, like on the Pima Road junction, if you stand on the footpath, you notice cars speeding past from left to right, as if some special thing is waiting there in the right direction. But lo behold, equal number of cars are speeding past from right to left also. So, if something important is there on the right, we can understand all people are running towards right. But equally, good number of people are running towards left also. So that means something important is there on the left also. Now, sometimes it is difficult to understand. So, why people are rushing in this direction so fast? And then the same people rush in the opposite direction equally fast. What could be that? That motivation? I don't know. I am just imagining. So this is how people, they function. They are running hither and thither. They always have a reason to run and to function, to do this, to do that, and get worked up about a number of things. They do all these things. People are like that. People of the world, always busy, working, full of effort, trying to reach somewhere, and never reaching. Right? That is how it looks. Someday they should reach somewhere. And when they reach, all the effort, all the running should come to an end. But they don't seem to reach anywhere. They are running and running and running. They don't reach anywhere. But anyway, they are able to do all that all their life, not 1%, 2%, the entire humanity, only because there is the sunlight. Sūryālokaṃ āśritya. It appears simple, but it's a little more complex than that. You never see the sunlight. you only see the light dispersed, light of the sun dispersed by the atmosphere. You never see sunlight. Never. So, sunlight, the light that you see is not sunlight. It is dispersed light. And sunlight enters into the atmosphere. Atmosphere has many gases, hydrogen, nitrogen, more important oxygen, carbon dioxide, they are there in different proportions. And these gaseous molecules will be there. These molecules disperse the light. And you see only the dispersed light. You never see the sunlight. And suppose you go sit in a rocket and go up beyond the atmosphere. There are names given. Up to 67 miles if you go, that is when you cross the threshold of gravity of the earth. And then beyond that, that is where the names are given to those spaces. The names of scientists are given to those spaces. Okay, I don't remember the names. So in that space there is no atmosphere, and therefore you don't see sunlight. So suppose you go up sitting in a rocket, all around you see darkness. It will be dark. But if you extend a robotic arm like that, that will be shining brilliantly because there is so much sunlight. You withdraw the robotic arm, it is all darkness because there is nothing to disperse the sunlight. You got the point? So that you can compare with the sleep state, your sleep state. Sun is the Atma. Light is not the physical light. This is physical light, Sometimes it is described as waves, electromagnetic waves. There is an electrical component and also a magnetic component, electromagnetic waves. In fact, they are mutually perpendicular. The electrical component is like this, magnetic component is like this. They get together, come together, gives you the light wave. The electromagnetic wave only some of it is visible. This like infrared, etc. is not even visible. Okay. Anyway, the light rays, let us take. They are electromagnetic waves. So there is one description. There is another description, photon particles it is, corpuscular theory. So it is particles. This light, is it a wave coming from there to here, like a water wave? Or is it particles pouring out from there to here? Till today, scientists have not yet concluded anything about it. Okay? Very interesting it is. Because this light, if you are looking for a wave, it behaves like a wave. And if you are looking for a particle, it behaves like a particle. It seems to be more intelligent than us, the light. There is intelligence in the light, not intellect. Intelligence in the light. Chalo, the science of light, that what we know is very little. What I know is very little. I am trying to show off some of my knowledge. So some of you may be knowing even better than that. That is the sunlight which you never ever see. And even if you go in the rocket up, you don't see it. Unless it is dispersed by something. Okay? Now, you have to carefully apply it to the sun of Atma. Atma is the sun. That is the illustration. Atma is the sun. And sun doesn't illuminate anything. Things get illuminated in atmospheric light, which is a product of reflection of the sunlight in the atmosphere. Sun doesn't do anything. Sun just sits there. Sun is, that's all. In the presence of sun, everything comes to light. And in that light, when things come to light, people run around fulfilling their jobs, doing their jobs, fulfilling their goals. Like that, janāḥ vartante pravartante. Therefore, that is how it works with the sunlight. Exactly the same way it works with the light of Atma. Only now you have to give up that physical thing. It is only an illustration, and go to the spirit. Spirit, physical, matter versus spirit. Physical versus spiritual. So here, what you call light is not physical light, neither electromagnetic nor corpuscular. It is not physical light. It is the light of knowingness. How you get it, I don't know. You have to get it. There is a definition for it. That light of knowingness. Atma. What is that light? So the definition given to that is Atma Chaitanyam, we say. Chaitanyam came from Chit. That is a verb. Chiti Saujñāne. That is the verb. From there it came. So what is this Atma Chaitanyam? Show us Atma Chaitanyam, you cannot. You cannot see Atma Chaitanyam. Just like you cannot see sunlight. You cannot see sunlight. No, I will go 100 miles up by going on a rocket. There also you cannot see sunlight. There also you put your hand out, and the hand disperses the light, and the hand appears shining brilliantly. Based on that, it is the sunlight because of which the hand is shining. You have to say like that only. Otherwise, direct sunlight is no way to know. There is no way to see direct sunlight. Okay? Atma Chaitanyam is the same. So what is Atma Chaitanyam? How to explain Atma Chaitanyam? So there is a verse which tries to say, Yene kshate, by which you see. Seeing is what? What is meant by seeing? By which you perceive, you know the forms. Seeing is knowing. So by which you know the forms and colors. Now that is something which you have to contemplate. What is that in me, because of which I am able to know the forms and colors? Now that is Atma Chaitanyam. How is the definition? So to define Atma Chaitanyam, you have to hold on to the forms and colors by which the forms and colors are known. That is the Atma Chaitanyam. Suppose you take away the forms and colors, there is no way of explaining Atma Chaitanyam. If there is no way to explain, then how to reach it? Don't worry, because you are that. You need not reach it. That is the only advantage here. You need not reach it. In fact, as long as you want to reach it, you miss it. So you need not reach it. You can be that, because you are that. Only you have to take out some of the misconception that you have about yourself. So that is Atma Chaitanyam. Yene kshate shrunoti idam. There is a verse like that in Panchadashi, by which you hear sounds. You hear sounds means what? You get the knowledge of the sounds. You know the sounds. So by which you know the forms and colors, by which you know the sounds. Yanekshate shrunotidam jighrati vyakaroti cha. By which you know the smells, jighrati. By which you explain things, the organ of speech. Svadvasvadu vijanati. By which you know the taste, good taste and bad taste. Tat, that is Atma. Atma Chaitanyam. You got it? So, Tat prajnanam udahratam. Prajnanam is the Atma Chaitanya. Prajnanam Brahma. So, therefore, Atma Chaitanyam is like the sun. And that sun reflects in the atmosphere to give what is called daylight. You see daylight. And you see things in daylight. And you perform your jobs in that daylight. Not in sunlight. Same thing here. There is the Atma, which is Chaitanyam. It reflects in the mind. And now, when it reflects in the mind starts shining with the knowingness. That is Atma. Means mind acquires the quality of knowing. That's why mind knows many things. And that reflection of the Atma Chaitanyam in the mind, it spills over into the eyesight. And therefore, with the help of the eyesight, mind knows the forms and colors. With the help of the ears, mind knows the sounds. With the help of the nose, mind knows the smells. And with the help of the tongue, taste buds, mind knows the tastes. And with the help of the skin, mind knows touch, sense of touch. You see, mind is knowing all these things. It looks as if mind is Swayam knowing all by itself. It is like daylight all by itself, illuminating the whole world. Is it so? Daylight is illuminating the whole world all by itself? No. It is a sunlight which is illuminating all the things of the world as daylight. Therefore, sunlight is the original. Daylight is the outcome of the original coming into contact with the atmosphere. Okay? And various objects you see and understand, know, and do your jobs. Now you can understand the word object. What is object? Object is that which objects that light. Objection, objection. Something put in the way, that is called objection. Object, appa. Don't you know object? Object to what you say. Means I put a block there. So the daylight, you have to block it. Now whatever blocks the light is the object. This cough is because I am talking since the last 18 to 20 days, nothing more. I can know what is that. Therefore, the object is that which obstructs. When I say abstract, you know better. But the word is same. To object is same as to obstruct. Generally, you don't use it in that sense. But sometimes you use it also. He puts an objection for everything. There, that is the obstruction only. Therefore, object is that which obstructs the light. You see an object on the screen. What is that object? How could you see the object on the screen? Because the light is obstructed by something, some shade in the film. The film obstructs the light differentially. Therefore, you see different objects there. Similarly, Atma Chaitanyam reflects in the mind, spills out through the eyes, and something obstructs the Atma Chaitanyam, and so that something is the object. Similarly, with the eyes I have explained, the same thing applies to the other organs also. Therefore, It is the Atma Chaitanyam, which is the original light. That is the original light. Now, what kind of light it is? Certainly not physical light. It is the light of knowingness. And let us give a name to that light. It is called awareness. Okay? The sunlight is primordial. Atmospheric light, the daylight, is the result of the reflection of the sunlight in the atmosphere. And the objects shine in the daylight. That is the scheme. Similarly, Atma Chaitanyam is the original. The awareness is primordial. It is the original. And it has no beginning and it has no ending. It is beginningless and endless, like the sunlight. Whereas daylight begins and ends. Look at that. So that awareness is beginningless and endless. It doesn't cause anything, the sunlight, it doesn't cause anything, it is not caused by anything else. Whereas daylight causes the objects to shine and all that. There is a kind of cause-effect relationship. The object is shining. Is it shining independently? No. Then what is it that makes it shine? The daylight. So cause-effect relationship is established. This daylight itself is caused by the sunlight, by reflection. Then who caused the sunlight? It is uncaused. So it is endless, beginningless, uncaused, and unsupported. The daylight is supported by the sunlight, whereas sunlight is not supported by anything. Daylight has parts. Parts means evening it is less daylight, morning is also less daylight, ushas, dusk, etc. Noon it is very brilliant, here it is less, there it is more. All such things are possible for daylight, none for sunlight. All of this applies to Atma Chaitanyam. Atma Chaitanyam is unsupported, it is without parts, and the daylight changes. It begins and ends means it changes. Morning it is less, afternoon it is more, etc. Whereas Atma Chaitanyam is without change. When the mind is dull, that is a tamoguna. There was a question like that. When the mind is alert, the awareness is shining in the mind wonderfully, brilliantly. You don't miss anything. That is, the mind is in sattva guna. Awareness is shining in the mind. That is called alertness. Then mind is sleepy. It is slipping into tamoguna. Awareness shines in it. That is when you become forgetful, you become dull. That is when you become all that. So that is the question. Therefore, awareness is not changeful. It is the daylight which is changeful because of the changes in the reflecting medium, which is the atmosphere. Same way, mind is the reflecting medium and it has three different states, sattva, rajas, tamas. Based on that, you get the reflection differently. Atma Chaitanyam is the same and it is changeless. Okay? Now that is Atma Chaitanyam. I called it consciousness, awareness. I called it awareness. Now there is sunlight. Sunlight comes into contact with the atmosphere and emerges as daylight. Okay? Now same thing you examine here. The Atma, the sun, it comes into contact. That is the reflection. Coming into contact means what? Reflection. Sunlight comes into contact with atmosphere means what? Sunlight reflects in the atmosphere. Same way, Atma Chaitanyam reflects in the mind. And that reflection in which the mind becomes knowing, let us give a name to it, consciousness. Why consciousness? Because the mind becomes conscious of forms and colors, mind becomes conscious of sounds, mind becomes conscious of taste, touch, etc. That's why the what is in the mind is consciousness, and what is original is awareness. Got it? In Sanskrit, they use that language. The original they call Chit, same as Chaitanyam. The consciousness they call Chidabhasa. Abhasa is reflection. Okay? Therefore, now you can say consciousness, awareness is original, primordial, whereas consciousness is on contact. On contact with the mind, of course, a reflection in the mind, like light reflecting in the atmosphere. And there is a duality in consciousness. Just like you have reflection in the atmosphere, there is duality, reflection, atmosphere, and different objects which shine in that reflection. Entire duality has come. Similarly, when the Atma Chaitanyam reflects in the mind, now it becomes consciousness. And what is consciousness? Consciousness is the content of consciousness. What is the daylight? What is daylight? Daylight is that by which all these objects are illuminated. Similarly, consciousness is the knowledge of forms and colors, knowledge of taste, knowledge of smells, knowledge of touch. All of that is a part and parcel of consciousness. Means consciousness can be defined as the content of consciousness. Okay? And because it has content, it is dual. It is the state of duality. Multiplicity is called duality. Okay? Please understand that. Duality is not too many. Begins with two and becomes many. Aham, ava in Sanskrit. Aham, avam, vayam. Aham, one. Avam, me and my wife, two. Now then what? Vayam. So the vayam comes from avam. In Sanskrit only this dvivachanam is there. Only in Sanskrit. In no other language. There is a one language which has dvivachanam, another language. It is not in vogue. It is not in use. It has become extinct. Like species become extinct, knowledge also becomes extinct. Knowledge, no, languages also become extinct. There was a language in the Middle East and that Turkey area called Avasthi. That is the name of the language. Avasthi nahi, Avasti. Ta. Avasti. And it has a dvivachanam, like Sanskrit. Now Avasti is not there. Sanskrit is also almost, it went to that level, but now they are pulling it out. Sanskrita Bharati people are rejuvenating the Sanskrit. Anyway, therefore, the consciousness is on contact. A consciousness is a state of duality. Okay? You understand? Now, sunlight can be there without there being daylight. Like in night there is no daylight, but sunlight will be there. That's why I could never reconcile with this idea of astamaya, the sun setting. Set is okay in Sanskrit. In English, sun sets. It sounds normal. Whereas in Sanskrit, sun astamaya means sun margaya. So sun has died. That is the impression you get with the word. Astangataha, saha astangataha, that person is no more. Similarly, suryaha astangataha. Ayyo, Rama Rama. I feel very unhappy. Because the sun never vanishes. So there can be sunlight. There is sunlight without daylight. But there is no daylight without sunlight. Similarly, there can be Atma Chaitanyam without consciousness. That is the sleep state. But there cannot be consciousness without Atma Chaitanyam. That means in the daylight, in the waking state, where you see the glory of Atma, glory of consciousness, because you are conscious of forms, sounds, this, that, the whole blessed thing you are conscious of. That is the glory of consciousness which you experience in the daylight. That glory is there only because of Atma Chaitanya. Without Atma Chaitanyam, consciousness cannot be. But without consciousness, Atma Chaitanyam is. Therefore, awareness is absolute. It is by itself. Whereas consciousness is relative to its content. Consciousness of what? Forms and colors. Consciousness of what? Sounds. Consciousness of tastes. Like that. It is relative. Whereas awareness is absolute. Okay? Because consciousness is always of something. Consciousness of something. Awareness, no such thing. It is by itself. So it is absolute. Consciousness is partial because multiple things are there. It is changeful. Whereas awareness is total, purnam, changeless, calm and silent. Consciousness is all movement. Content is movement, you know. Consciousness is full of variety of experiences. Now you use the word experience, you introduce. I see, I am conscious of forms. I have the experience of forms. I am conscious of tastes. I have the experience of tastes. Right? Therefore, the word conscious can also be converted into experience. So you go to the movie, you don't say, I am conscious of the scenes on the screen. You don't say like that. You say, I experience a beautiful movie. Like that you talk. Therefore, the experience is a part and parcel of the consciousness. Because the content of consciousness, when you become conscious of something, and that means it has become content of consciousness, that becomes an experience. The taste, you are conscious of the taste, means you have experienced the taste. Okay? Now you look at your life. What is life? A series of experiences. Right? The entire waking state. Every experience happens in the background of consciousness. And consciousness itself is made possible by Atma Chaitanyam reflecting, that light of knowingness reflecting in the mind. Now you tell me, if I ask you, what is the common matrix of, matrix word you know? Common matrix of all experiences. If I ask you, you have to say, Atma Chaitanyam is the common matrix of all experiences. Suppose there is Sukha experience. Its matrix is Atma. There is Dukkha experience. Its matrix is also Atma. Now you want to identify with the experience, you become experiencer. You stand apart from the experience as a witness, you are one with the Atma Chaitanya. Very practical it is. Therefore, if you identify with the Sukha or Dukkha, you are called Sukhi or Dukkhi. The one who has Sukha, the one who has Dukkha. You know another name for Sukhi, Dukkhi put together? Sukhi, Dukkhi put together is called Samsari. That is the definition. That is the definition. Samsari is the one who is alternately Sukhi and Dukkhi. Generally, Sukhi for a short time, Dukkhi for a long time. That is how it goes. But generally alternates, even in that alternating. So Sukhi, Dukkhi, Sukhi, Dukkhi, Sukhi, Dukkhi, like that life goes on. Okay? This is the samsari. Okay? Sukha dukha experiences. You identify with the experience. There is a trick that you can avoid all this. There is not a trick, a knack. There is a knack. You can also say a genius. There is a genius in you, a knack in you. You can pull out that knack. Thereby, do not identify with any experience. There is headache, but I am not the headache wala, because I don't identify with the headache. Okay? You can take it to the extremes. There is cancer, but I am not cancer wala. There is old age, I am not old. Atma Chaitanyam is absolute. There is old age, true, but I am not old. Consciousness is time-bound. Atma Chaitanyam is timeless. There is old age, I am not old. Means this is very practical. Please think about it. Shall I tell the way I live? Shall I tell you? You don't mind? I do not feel, never ever, it doesn't cross my mind that I am old. Okay, I was running, now I am unable to run. The body is not able to run. I was jogging, now the jogging is also not much. Some brisk walking. And I was walking very brisk, now I am walking just brisk only. So all those changes are there. But this idea that I am a Swami who is old, it is not there. I think that serves me well. I told this to one or two people. They told me that it serves them well also. My class is on the 5th floor. The government permission is only for 4 floors, but we build the 5th floor. In India, we do all that. We are very resilient people. So, I teach there. The officer came. Hey, there has no permission for it. He said, I know. I said, I know that. Then what are you doing here? I am taking a class. What class? Some Vedanta, Bhagavad Gita, etc. Oh, is it? Okay, God bless you. He went his way. He doesn't bother you. They don't disturb you. Can you believe it? They don't disturb you because we don't believe in law. We believe in dharma. Ours is a dharma civilization, not law-based civilization. America is a law civilization, whereas for us it is dharma civilization. Very interesting. I see it every step. So, the red light comes, nobody stops. Not in Hyderabad. In Bombay they stop, in Delhi they stop, but not in Hyderabad. No way. Nobody stops. They go. Then an accident happens. People die. We understand that also. Dharma. So, we are very hardened people. So, my class is on the 5th floor. And I always go by stairs only. I never go by lift. I don't use lift. Maybe that was the reason why I did not get COVID for so many months. Maybe, I don't know. I always go by stairs. They all know it. This Swami never comes by lift. So I am going by stairs. 2 or 3 people are waiting there to come to the class. They are a bit elderly. They are still waiting. I notice, why are they still waiting? Why you don't go? The lift is not working. Then I said, why do you depend upon the lift? Come with me. Then they said, no, we are old and legs are, the knees could be a problem. I said, you are not old. You are Atma. You are attending classes for some time now. Why you still say I am old? You are not old. The body is what it is. I don't even say body is old. Body deho na janati. You are not old. You are ever fresh Atma, timeless Atma. That is what you are. Why do you put upon your head that I am old? You avoid it. I went my way. They gave a try. They came up. And then they told they are not feeling bad at all. And they are feeling much better, healthier. Body is what it is. They feel fresh, kind of relaxed, happy, healthier, in spite of some of the issues of the body. This non-identification, it snaps the connect. So what goes on will be going on. The changeful will be changing only, but the changeless is never connected to the changeful, except by non-identification. Except by identification. So when you do not identify, so the connect, which is due to ignorance, it snaps. You are a asamsari. Sukha dukkha will be there. Back to India. I do not see that much dukkha. Life goes on. Here people are comfortably unhappy. Okay. Whereas in India, we are uncomfortably happy and are unhappy. Life goes on. So, therefore, you can sukhi, dukhi is an experience. Sukha, dukkha are experiences. Experiences are there because they are the content of consciousness. You cannot have a consciousness without experience. That's why a jnani also will continue to have experiences. Suppose it is cold. Jnani will feel cold. Cold is uncomfortable. And so that uncomfortable experience is part and parcel of the jnani's consciousness also, as much as it is anybody else's consciousness. But jnani doesn't identify. Therefore, there is sukha dukkha. There is no sukhi dukhi. Means there is no samsari. Shankara makes a stunning comment in 13th chapter. The first verse itself, the Kshetrajna Bhashya they call it. He makes a stunning comment. What is Ishvara? He gave a definition of Ishvara. Ishvara is asamsari. That is Ishvara. Now, when I see that, I really wonder, what have we done? We have created an Ishvara out of our intellect or thinking, or out of our vasanas. That is the anthropomorphic God. Out of our vasanas, we created an Ishvara. I am not suggesting you created. The entire history of mankind is in you. You are the product of entire history of mankind. And therefore, the anthropo is the civilizational character, that is there in you. And it is the product of the anthropo that is there in you, is the product of hundreds and thousands of generations of civilization. All of that is there in your head. And out of that anthropo content, you morph, you give a form to God. And worship that. In doing so, you have permanently separated yourself from the Godhead and live with that. and on and off say Tattvamasi Aham Brahmasmi. Alankara, it is called Alankara, Alankara in India, what we do, this is a Indian standard, I think South Indian, North Indian I am not very sure, standard South Indian Brahmin or upper caste middle class guy. He will have one kanchi silk dhoti, lady will have a sari, ladies have multiple, but the men have only one. One kanchi silk dhoti, one silver plate, these two he has. He gets them in the marriage time at the expense of the father-in-law. Father-in-law pays for that. Poor father-in-law. He has to pay for it. And so, whenever it is time to worship God, he pulls out that silk dhoti and puts on. He never washes. It is so precious. You don't wash it every single time. You wash it once after 3, 4, 5 times wearing it. Means some 3, 4, 5 months pass in the meanwhile. Then put it for wash carefully. And a silver plate with a golden flower in between. And you eat food in that. This is the middle class Brahmana. So, and like that God. So you pull it out of the almirah or the cabinet, the silken dhoti, and pull it out of almirah this silver plate, and pull out of almirah the God. They are there only for special occasions, separate special occasions. This is what we have done to God. What Shankara says, you are the samsari by identifying with the different states of mind. Sukhan dukkha, sukhi dukhi nama samsari. And if you do not identify, you are the asamsari, that means you are Ishvara. Because, how Ishvara? Because you have the command over the entire content of consciousness. That is Tattvamasi. That is the message of the rishis, Tattvamasi. And therefore, you have to understand, Atma is not the experiencer. Atma is the common matrix of all experiences. Therefore, experiencer comes by identification. Therefore, since it is awareness, Atma, by reflection makes consciousness possible, therefore, in every conscious experience, there is the shining, the glory of awareness. This is what the Upanishad says, Pratibodha viditam matam. Did you hear that? Kenopanishad. Like Ghatajnana is there. Ghatajnana means you are conscious of the part. When you are conscious of the part, in that consciousness, there is Atma Chaitanyam. That is the matrix of that consciousness. Therefore, if you ask, where is God? God is the background reality of part thought. Ghatajnana. Ghatajnana is part thought. In the part thought, there are two elements. One is the nama rupa, the name part, and the form part. And the other is the matrix of Atma Chaitanya. Therefore, if you dismiss the nama rupa, what remains, śaśī, is the matrix of Atma Chaitanya. Therefore, prati bodha, in every cognition, if you understand correctly, if you know correctly, Atma viditam matam, it is understood that Atma is realized as the matrix of every single cognition. There can be no cognition without the Atma Chaitanyam being the matrix of that cognition. Therefore, that is what Atma, that is what Brahman is. So, you see, therefore, suppose you are conscious of the physical things, Shabda Sparsha Rupa Rasa Gandha. in that consciousness, like consciousness of a form. Now, to arrive at the Atma, you have to take away that form. You have to dismiss it. You have to negate the form along with the name. Suppose you are consciousness of the pot. So it comes to the name and form consciousness. It is name and form consciousness. And from that, you have to negate the name and form. And what remains is the Atma Chaitanya. Okay? Shabda, same thing. Some sound, you are conscious of a certain sound. So sound, the name of the sound and the form of the sound means its meaning. So that you have to negate to arrive at the Atma Chaitanya. So when you are conscious of Shabda Sparsha Rupa Rasa Gandha and the Sukha Dukkha, the seven things, in every one of those experiences, you have to negate the content, the Nama Rupa, to arrive at the matrix. Okay? But suppose you give up all those seven, Shabda Sparsha Rupa Rasa Gandha plus Sukha Dukkha, 7 you give up. Means now the consciousness is denuded of its content. No content is left. What is the content now? So you reach a state of thoughtlessness. And there, still you are conscious, because it is the silent mind now. Instead of moving mind, you have silent mind. And that is silent mind, Atma Chaitanyam reflecting, is the state of thoughtlessness. And in that state, you are still conscious being only. You are conscious of the inner being. Okay? Now you contrast this. Conscious of Shabda Sparsha Rupa Rasa Gandha Sukha Dukkha. That is samsara. Put aside all of that and be conscious of the being in you, conscious of the being. Already you have crossed the threshold of consciousness and entered into the realm of awareness. Therefore, I am, that is the consciousness of your own being, becomes the window to the Atma Chaitanya. Understood? Whereas I am conscious of Shabda Sparsha Rupa Rasa Gandha, that is the gateway into samsara. And that brings in Sukha Dukkha also. And you end up identifying with them, becoming a samsari. So for God's sake, put aside this Shabda Sparsha, etc., 5 plus 2 aside, put aside for a while. They will be there forever. You need not support them all the time. You need not carry on your head all the time. It will be there. Okay, don't worry, it will not go anywhere. So put aside for a while. Then be conscious of your being, your own being. That is the antarmukha. In doing so, you have already opened the window to the Atma Chaitanyam, which is the primordial awareness. That is the meditation. This is the theoretical background of that practical meditation. Then, from all this discussion, one or two conclusions you can draw. The Atma can never ever be an object of consciousness. It is like you are operating a pair of tongs with the hand. I am operating a pair of tongs. I can catch anything, but not the hand itself. Because the operating hand cannot be caught by the pair of tongs. Everything else can be caught. I can catch your nose, whatever. But I cannot catch the fingers which are operating the tongs. Similarly, the consciousness is a product of reflection of the Atma Chaitanyam in the mind. And because of the consciousness, you can be conscious of anything of this world, everything of this world, which is ahead of you. But the consciousness cannot turn back and objectify the Atma. Therefore, as you know Shabda Sparsha Rupa Rasa Gandha, and as you know Sukha Dukkha, The same way I want to know Atma, it is a pipe dream. It is not going to happen. Therefore, there is nothing like knowing Atma. There is nothing like become conscious of Atma. There is only one thing. You can cross the very threshold of consciousness and abide in your Swarupa as the pure, awareful being. You can do that. You can access the Atma that way, but you cannot make Atma the object of consciousness. Now you tell me, somebody says, yesterday in the dream I saw God. What is that God? Is it a real God it is? It is only some Namarupa, some imagined thing it is. Somebody says while doing meditation, the God has moved from navel to the throat or whatever. And who knows it? I know it. Now that cannot be the God. So all these ideas about God have to be dismissed. And therefore, you cannot know God. To know God is to deny God. Okay? With the help of the light, which is God, you can know the entire world. But God itself you cannot know. But don't lose heart. You can be the God. How is this conclusion? So this is how it works. That verse is a very beautiful verse. Already we have 1 hour 15 minutes. Let us finish that verse. The ideas will be further coming, things will be repeating, but having done this much work on that verse, let us bring it to a conclusion. Yathā we have done. The illustration we have done. Now we have to do the original. When there is yathā, you have to bring in tathā. You don't find tathā, not necessary it is there. Let us say tathā in the same way. Janāḥ people, not janāḥ. Janāḥ is an illustration only, not janāḥ. Dehendriyamanodhiyaḥ. That corresponds to janāḥ. Okay? The body, the organs of action, the sense organs, the mind, and the intellect. Ātmacaitanyamāśritya. Having taken refuge in the awareness absolute, which is Atman, vartante, are functioning. What are functioning? Dehendriyamanodhiyaḥ. Like people are functioning in the sunlight, in the daylight, similarly dehendriyamanodhiyaḥ are functioning. Functioning where, let us say, functioning where? Svakīyārtheṣu. In their respective objects. For example, eyes in forms and colors, ears in sounds, nose in smells, tongue in tastes, skin in the sense of touch, mind in thoughts, intellect in the process of intellection, are functioning. They are the objects, So in their objects, they are functioning. Mind is able to think, produce thoughts. Intellect is able to acquire knowledge, accumulate knowledge. Eyes are able to see. They are all doing all these functions only by taking refuge in that matrix of Atma Chaitanya. Just like people are doing all their chores in the daylight, which is created by the reflection of the sunlight in the atmosphere. That is the verse. Beautiful verse. Ātmacaitanyamāśritya dehendriyamanodhiyaḥ Svakīyārtheṣu vartante sūryālokaṃ yathā janāḥ. There is a question about philanthropy and service. I will address it separately. This is done. I know this question, you see, we have discussed a lot, but still will let us see. I know I am not the body intellectually. What is the difference between knowing and understanding that I am not the body mind? Interesting question, you know. I am making a difference between knowing and understanding. Okay? So, I ask you, there are any number of instances in your day-to-day life in which you behave as though you are not the body. You do that. While you are cooking food, are you the body? You are not the body. You are the love to prepare nice food. Love or sentiment, whatever name you give to it, you are certainly not the body. While running, are you the body? No, you are the prana shakti. That is what you are while running. While speaking, you are the intellect. So, you are the body only when you think of the body, and you think of the body only when the body draws your attention towards itself. When the body draws when you think of the body, only when the body draws your attention towards itself. When does the body draw your attention towards itself? When you want the body to look good. When you stand before the mirror, the body draws your attention towards itself. That's why sannyasis are advised not to carry a mirror in the bag. If you allow me to say, I will say some more things also, which I am not sure. The women carry a mirror in the bag all the time. Okay? And they carry one more thing also. Shall I tell you what is that one more thing? Husband. Really? The guy should be somewhere around. So that gives a sense of support or whatever you call it. It's nice. Nothing wrong in it. Therefore, when you suppose this Swami wants to look good and he is standing before the mirror and putting all kinds of marks and all that, he is the body identified guy. He is no better than that lady who is walking on that fashion show. They walk from this end to that end, you know. What is it called? They call it catwalk? My God. Because I do catwalk. That is an exercise for me. I walk on my toes. Everybody should, you have to walk on toes. That is good exercise. Two back and forth on toes. And then on the heels, back and forth. That is good exercise. So they call it catwalk. Very interesting. So they walk on and all these vardis looking at them, sitting both sides. What a funny situation. So the point is, when the body is in pain, it certainly draws your attention to the body. Therefore, I suggest you are already beyond the threshold of body consciousness. Please be assured. With reference to mind, it's a bit more difficult. With reference to body, it is not difficult. This understanding is already helping you. Mostly you are beyond the threshold of body consciousness anyway. You do one thing. You make a list of occasions where you are purposefully are proactively identifying with the body and start dismissing them. In general terms, you behave as if you are not the body. Behave like that, as if you are not the body. Body will fend for itself and I am on my life, I am on my way, as though. You behave like that. You will lose that body identification very easily. With mind you have to do some more work. So that explains that. Me and mine, they are the states of body identification. When the consciousness becomes egoless, you are already beyond the body identification. So I appreciate your concern to go beyond body identification. So what I suggest is give up that concern first. Relax and believe in yourself. You are already beyond the threshold of body identification mostly. You just add a little more enthusiasm to that and behave as if you are not the body and see what happens. So you will be blessed. Om Purnamada. Evening the situation is 6 to 7 class and immediately lunch, dinner. And then those of you who have enthusiasm can go to that light show.
Which question did you say that you answered at the end? The question numbers that you answered.
That is the last question. I will take those.